All right, for those who are watching the recordings, we'll just go back one slide. We can't go back, apparently. Okay, here we go. This is the important part. Visas are still processing. COVID vaccine has been reduced to recommended. Tickets are finalized and will be emails. All right, the flights. Emirates, you want to, by the way, I'm going to send you all this. This is a very simple screenshot you could take to get your flight number. The most important thing is your flight number. Okay. We leave, the flight is at 10:40 a.m. So what time should we be there? We should be there at 7:40 a.m. at the airport, which means we should leave here at what time? Probably, what do you think, Sammy? 5:40 a.m.? 2 hours? 6:40 a.m.? 6 a.m. Okay. Now, the bulk of us are going on the Emirates trip. Okay. Only the special people are going on Air Morocco. Okay. But the bulk of us, if we want to discuss going together on a bus or a shuttle, we will find out. But first, we would just need a general show of hands. Should Sammy and I even bother looking? Or do you all want to pay an Uber for yourself to go to JFK with all your luggage? So just give me a raise of hands, and on Zoom, please tell me, just a quick show of hands, who would want to meet here at MBIC, take a shuttle bus to JFK? And that'll probably decrease our costs. All right, so it's worth looking into, inshallah. All right, so we stop over at Dubai for a little bit, and then we go to Medina. And when we return from Jeddah to Dubai to JFK. And again, if we want to do the shuttle bus, we can arrange that, inshallah. All right, next group. All right, the famous Morocco flight. You are leaving December 21st. Now, that means you're leaving Wednesday. Okay, so you're leaving before everybody else, and you're taking Air Morocco, which is, the code here is AT that they use. AT201 at 8 p.m. on Wednesday night, so that you need to be at JFK by 5 p.m. You're only a small group of people, so maybe you want to split 2 Ubers or something like that. That's up to you. Okay. Sammy is going to be leading that flight. And then you wait in Casablanca for half a day. In that half a day, you'll be doing the following. Okay, firstly, these are the passengers for the Air Morocco flight. Sami Karavik, Qari Zahid, Habib Sayed, Harun Othmani, Mikhail Chowdhury, Yusuf Abul Izz, Karim Shaban, and Taha Shaukat. Is Taha here, by the way? It's like the only name that we don't know. Taha Shaukat, you here? I hope he might be online. Well, we need to meet him because it's the only name that we can't recognize. The hotel that you will stay in is provided by the airline. So the purchase was flight plus hotel. Okay. And so they will specify your hotel, and somebody will be there to meet you and take you there, the 8 of you. When you are there, you will be gifted with a tour. You will go to the old city of Casablanca, Darul Bayda, and you will go to the famous Hassan al-Thani Mosque. As you can see, this mosque, half of it is on land, and the Qibla portion is on water. So when you are facing the Qibla, there's all these windows. You just see the ocean rising up and coming at you. Okay, so it's a beautiful masjid. You'll go to the central market and you have a nice couscous dinner, and then get to rest in a hotel, which is always fun, and then go back to the airport. Okay, so we have a nice break. You get to see another city, maybe get some stuff from the old market and the old city. All right, let's now talk accommodations. In Medina, December 24th to December 28th, our hotel is called the Frontal Al-Harithiyya Hotel on Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah Street, and there's the phone number if you get lost. I'm going to be sending this PDF to the whole WhatsApp group, so you'll have all this information. Just save it, you'll have the information. Okay. This is what the hotel looks like, so that you have an idea what it looks like. It's unique. It's one of the only hotels that's surrounded like this. So when we get to Medina, you'll find it very quickly because it's unique. And this is the most important part. This is the map. Now, where is the burial place of the Prophet? Can you see my mouse? Right up here. This is where the Prophet is buried. This is the old mosque right here, or the original masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All the rest is expansion. When we pray and we say we're going to pray in the masjid, this is what we intend. We don't intend to pray here or here. Okay, we intend to pray in the original masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, and this part, this green circle that you see, is the dome where the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is buried. So when we walk, we are going to come out of the hotel, go up the first street that we find. Then once you hit the tents, you can either turn left or you can go diagonal, which many of you high school students, Umra for youth, know that this is called the hypotenuse. Okay. What's the shortest route? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So you can take the purple line, and where does that take you? To gate 21. When we say that we're meeting, we mean gate 21. Okay. And we want to meet, as you're going to see, Dhuhr is going to be the time that we meet. But we want to be here at Dhuhr. And it's December. It's not just Christmas break for us, it's winter break for the Arabs. For all the countries, they have winter break. It's going to be very packed. So when we talk about meeting, we're talking to meet at the gate about half hour before Dhuhr, to make our way up here. And this area is not so big. And if you can see here, there are 6 tents here and 6 tents here. These are the famous umbrella areas. And these umbrella areas are smaller than MBIC, so we can all find each other. Okay. So that is gate 21, where anytime that we say in Medina that we will be meeting, we will meet here. Okay. If anybody ever gets sick, we do have a group doctor here, Dr. Maraj Ahmed, inshallah, he's the group doctor, and we do have there is a health center there. If anyone gets sick, God forbid, but we do have that. All right, the Mecca accommodations, it's called the Mecca Hotel, and it's, in fact, the Hilton Mecca Hotel, but they call it the Mecca Hotel. Okay, so it's not really a good name for them to have chosen because people think we're just referring to the hotel in Mecca, but it's actually called the Mecca Hotel. And it's in the famous clock tower. The clock tower is a massive tower with like 2 wings, and it's on the right side, as I'm going to show you in the picture. So the clock tower is big, and it's like a V. Imagine you took a V and you built Legos upwards. So we're on the right side of this clock tower, which means you can't miss this hotel. It's the tallest building. Okay. And this is what it looks like. The first 3 stories are shops and malls. And I tell you this for your convenience. If you ever need something, you can pick it up. But number 2, it's also very important not to get very distracted. And what is it to be distracted? These are all shops that we can get here in America. There's no shop that should capture your attention. Okay. It's very important. We only have 4 days in Mecca. What's the point of wasting time here? But this is what the hotel looks like, so that inshallah you can't miss it. Now let's talk about it. So you see here, this is the V I'm talking about. You see this V? Okay, this is the V that I'm talking about. We are on the right side of the V. You're going to come straight down, and then you're going to cut over. You're going to cut a slant. Okay. And then right there, King Fahd is the gate that we're talking about. This is called the gate, King Fahd Gate. All right. And this whole area is called the King Fahd Extension. And the gate number you'll see there is 79. So when we say that we're going to meet at the gate, we mean the King Fahd Gate. And it's the fastest gate to us. It's the quickest gate to us. Now, when you actually come into the Haram, if you make tawaf, you have to walk quite a distance because the tawaf will begin here, right here. You see this area right here where my mouse is pointing, where it says Sacred Mosque? That's where the tawaf will begin. This corner of the Kaaba is where you begin your tawaf. Okay, and then you go around. There are some rules to tawaf, which is namely that the downstairs lower level is only allowed for men if they're wearing ihram. So some people, I personally don't mind it. They want to be near the Kaaba. They only have 4 days. they're not doing Umrah, they just put their ihram on. They might be wearing their drawers underneath for comfort, and they just go. I don't find a problem with that. If your conscience is okay with that, then you could do that. So that's the only way that you can be at the level of the Kaaba. Women can be there because women don't have a set clothes of ihram. But for men, they will not allow you in unless you are wearing the ihram wraps. Now, where are you going to get your ihram? It will be provided to you in Medina. All right, next, communication. And we have about 7 youth here who are going to be without their parents. So I'm sure some of the parents are wondering about communication. And some of you your parents are here, but may not be always with the group. I highly recommend you get the international plan for whatever phone service that you have. Okay, so you have Verizon, AT&T, whatever you have, it may cost you $10 a day. So let's say it's $50. It's really nothing. So get the international plan. Secondly, both hotels have Wi-Fi. There's pretty much Wi-Fi in a lot of restaurants too. So even if you're outside the hotel, you can nab Wi-Fi from a restaurant. And our group will communicate via WhatsApp. So make sure that you're always checking the WhatsApp group. And we're going to try our best, provided there can be exceptions with sickness and exhaustion, but we're going to try to have a routine where our first meeting point right at the top of the day is breakfasts right after Salat al-Fajr at the hotel. Second meeting point will be at Dhuhr. We'll do our ibadah at Dhuhr. Then everyone can leave whenever they're tired. Take a break, take a nap. We meet again after Salat al-Asr in the hotel. There will be a set meeting room where we meet and we have a talk. And then again, we meet a 4th time at Isha. We pray Isha, we meet at the gate of the masjid, and we could pick a restaurant that we want to go to. Or if you want to be alone and you don't want to join us, we don't want to join you either. Okay? Go and do your ibadah. Okay? And remember us in your dua. All right, food, money, and medical. Okay. How are we going to eat there? It's very simple. There are many restaurants, but there is the first most important thing is we have a physician in the group, Dr. Mi'raj Ahmed. If you need, you can contact him on WhatsApp. I highly recommend you not take anything lightly, such as dehydration, such as dizziness, sleepiness. Don't take it lightly. Nip it at the bud. Why I say this? And also take a mask with you. Why? Because Mecca and Medina are gathering people from all over the world. There are all sorts of germs and microbes that they're bringing, and we're bringing to them that they're not used to, and we're not used to theirs. As a result, many people get a little bit of a cold. So anytime, the moment you think someone is sneezing next to you, just put your mask on. Just protect yourself so you don't ruin your trip. You can get some vitamin C pouches and drink one a day, because this is not a normal Umrah season. It's Hajj and Ramadan Umrah and winter break Umrah. It's packed. So I highly recommend you take this seriously and don't take it lightly, because you will end up getting some microbes and getting some germs and getting some sickness. So take it seriously from the top. Get some vitamin C pouches and take a number of masks. Take a whole bunch of masks with you. Anytime that you're next to somebody and you hear coughing, just cover your mouth. At least you increase your chance of protecting yourself from these germs. Let's talk about money. $1 gives you 3.76 Saudi riyals. You should budget about $4 to $12 per meal. So I recommend bring $150 to $250 cash. As soon as we get there in Medina, you transfer the currency over. Okay, $250 for the trip. And it's really a nice thing that anytime that you buy food, you take some extra sandwich and give it to some of the poor people. You never know, they may make dua for you and it'll be accepted. I would highly recommend everyone to avoid fried foods for lunch, because it makes you sleepy, it upsets your stomach, and it wastes your time going to the bathroom. Now, if you want to try fried foods, because there are some good restaurants there, like Al-Bayt, which is famous for fried chicken, you should do that at night, where you don't have the rest of the day ahead of you. Secondly, a lot of hydration is important. Hydrate at the beginning of the day so that your ibadah is not disrupted with trips to the bathroom. Nothing is worse than having a good seat in the masjid. It's gold to have a good seat. You may not have good seats unless you try hard, and then you have to go to the bathroom. You just wasted it. You played yourself, okay? As some people say. Okay. Restaurants in Medina. I've just put some restaurants here that are not fried food. These are ethnic and seems like it's more on the healthy side. Really quick, because you don't want to waste too much time on this. You can just consult this PDF. There's only going to be 4 dinners, if you think about it, right? Arabesque, the Arabesque restaurant, Beiruti restaurant, these are Arab food. Swiss house is American food. Hyderabad house, you can guess. Takushi is sushi. There's sushi there. And Rukn al-Shami is Syrian food. Once we get to Mecca, the Oasis, Gurkhan is a steakhouse. Maybe we probably all want to go there. Al-Rihab, Sini's, Al-Sharfa, Faisalabad, Simit Sarai, Turkish food paradise restaurant. Just so that you can have this instead of searching, you can. These are top rated on TripAdvisor of non-fried foods, non-fast foods. Because there's tons of fast food, but these are the non-fast foods that are on TripAdvisor. All right, transport. This is very important. We will have a bus assigned to us the entire time. That bus will take us from the Medina airport to the hotel. It will take you, the Casablanca crew first, and they will take us, the Emirates crew, second. This bus will take us on both tours. There will be a tour of Medina and a tour of Mecca. This bus will not take us to dinner. It will just take us on this list here. This bus will take our luggage from Medina to Mecca, but we will take the train from Mecca. We will take the train from Medina to Mecca, but the bus will take our luggage there. And then we will meet the bus there. Because the train is more comfortable. And this will take us from the Mecca hotel to the Jeddah airport. So when we get this bus, it's going to have a number. And you want to take a picture of that number. And that's going to be the bus that you always look for. Okay. This bus should not be used by anyone else. So just in case you left like a phone charger or something there, you should be able to recoup it. Okay. The new high-speed train will take us from Medina to Mecca. And for dinner, if we want to go out for dinner, if we want to go visit some shuyukh, Uber, Lyft, and taxis are available in Mecca and Medina. Now, the people in Mecca and Medina, the laws aren't so similar. You can literally hail anybody down, and they'll pick you up and you give them 5 riyals or 10 riyals. But for the minors, I highly recommend them not to do that. And the sisters, if you're going to transport yourself, make sure it's an official taxi, or just use an Uber, right? Or a Lyft. They're all available there, so download the app and you can use them. All right, our daily schedule. This is pretty important to have. Our daily schedule is based upon Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha. Mainly because we're going to have breakfast after Fajr. The breakfast is on the hotel. It's part of the package. And so after Fajr, everyone goes to the restaurant of the hotel and has breakfast. Okay. If you want to have tahajjud, pray tahajjud, so you're going to wake yourself up maybe 75 minutes before Fajr. So 5:11, 5:10, so minus 75 minutes. You get yourself ready, you go down, you find a good spot, and you pray tahajjud. Then you wait for the adhan, you wait for Salat al-Fajr, and then you go for breakfast. Then you can take a rest. Now, Dhuhr is at 11:50, so minus, let's say, half hour, you want to be there at the gate at, let's say, 11:30. Because they're not going to pray Dhuhr right away. There's going to be a gap. But we want to be well ahead of the schedule. Okay? So, minus 30 minutes, be at the gate. All right? At that time. We'll do our ibadah. This is going to be the part where we do our ibadah. And I highly recommend, if you're in Medina, your ibadah should be 1,000 salawat on the Prophet a day. which I give you some examples of it. If you're in Mecca, it should be a juz or two of Quran a day. But you do it right after Dhuhr. Then you could take a breather, you could rest, you could take a nap. You go down again for Salatul Asr, and then you come back up and we meet at the location that they give us in the hotel, which is either the restaurant or a suite. Okay. And then our next meeting will be, we pray Isha, and then we'll wait around at the gate again for the people who want to all go and eat dinner together at a restaurant. Because part of Umrah is not for the hangout, but sohbah is important. And to talk and to feel that there are people doing this ibadah with you, it's important. And what is the point of Umrah for youth if we're not interacting? So that's going to be the second time we interact. There's the breakfast, there's the meeting after Asr, and then there's dinner. So there's a number of times here. When we do the ibadah at Dhuhr, we may be physically next to each other, but it's not a time for talking. Just everyone does their ibadah. And it's good to see each other there as a motivation. And here are the prayer times for Mecca, so make sure you screenshot that. And again, this PDF will be sent to everybody after this presentation. Again, the daily routine, Fajr, followed by breakfast in the hotel. We meet at the gate at the Dhuhr Adhan. Kareem Shaban, you need something? Right. You go to Dhuhr and do ibadah. You gather after Asr in the hotel, and then dinner after Isha. And we can arrange our own dinners, not part of the hotel package. All right, daily meetings. We may have some visits. We may have shiuch that we visit. And we have the tour. Those specific granular details are not determined yet, and they will be communicated to you through WhatsApp. All right, ihram. It will be provided to you in Medina. There are some rules of ihram which we will go over in more detail in Medina. But the rules of ihram, very basically, is that the point of ihram is that we're not wrapping anything around our limbs. So the meaning of stitched clothes means that the stitching is not used to wrap something around your limb. So therefore, if there's a stitch in your sandal, that's acceptable as long as the sandal doesn't wrap around your foot. Okay. That's the idea of the ihram. Of course, in this short period of about 3 or 4 hours in which you'll be wearing ihram, there will be no putting of any perfumes on yourself, whether they be scented lotions or soap or cologne. You can do that beforehand. There will be no shaving of any sorts, nor clipping of nails in this short period of time. Where will we put on the ihram? The beautiful miqats in Medina. Right a little past Medina, there's a really nice miqats with palm trees. We're going to pray 2 rakahs. You should have a small bag. No, I should have mentioned this. When you come, you should have a book bag or a duffel bag for quick stuff. Okay. So for example, you're not going to leave your hotel in Medina with ihram. You're going to have your ihram in a bag. You're going to go, when we stop, where we stop, we're going to put on our ihram. I have to look where does the train stop, or do we not stop at the miqat? I think we stop at the miqat, but we'll see. But you always have to have a book bag or a duffel bag with you to put stuff in. Change of clothes, your ihram will be there. So you need to have that bag with you. All right, the Umrah itself consists of 5 aspects. Ihram at the miqats. Tawaf. Of course, we're going to get to the granular details later. But tawaf. 2 rakahs behind Maqam Ibrahim. Sa'i from Safa to Marwa, and then either you shorten your hair or you shave your hair. Now, if we want to go to another Umrah, all we have to do is take a cab to Masjid Aisha and come back. Put your ihram on there and come back and do another Umrah. So you can do that however many times you want. Umrah itself takes about 90 minutes. Anybody who needs a wheelchair, you're going to go to the second floor and you're going to pay somebody for their wheelchair, or you pay them double to push the wheelchair. Let's say you're coming with an elderly parent. You can pay him a set fee. He works for the masjid, and he will push your parents. Okay. And you'll just walk next to them. That's how it works. If you want to make tawaf outside of Umrah, let's say we finish Umrah, what is the greatest ibadah to do in Mecca? It's tawaf. You go into the masjid, you find the marker, you start making tawaf. As I said, if you're in street clothes, you will not be allowed in the bottom level. You have to go to the second floor, or the third or the fourth, and make tawaf from there. What does that mean? Number one, it's less intense, but also it's way longer. You're lapping way longer, and you're just looking at the Kaaba from a distance. Okay. If you want to make tawaf while not doing Umrah, but you just want to make tawaf at the downstairs level, then put your ihram on. Okay, so just take your shirt off, your undershirt off, put your regular ihram on, and then put the ihram on the bottom part too. Okay. The Rawda visit. We will do that together, and that is another announcement you have to look for, because that has not been assigned to us. Groups who sign up for Umrah are given a time that they could take their entire group to the Rawda visit. Now, unfortunately, it's not like the old days that you imagine you just walk right up to the Rawda of the Prophet ﷺ and pray. That's the old days. Now, it's so packed, and they have all these protocols. We're going to be assigned, there's going to be essentially like a great adventure line. So bring some reading material, bring a misbahah, you will be there for a while. You're going to wait online, and then you move 5 inches, and then you wait 5-minute intervals. When that group is done, we move another 5 meters, and you wait, and you move another 5 meters. But you have to treat all of that as if you're in the Rawda, because you have the intention to go there. The Rawda is between the house and the pulpit of the Prophet, the minbar, like where the Prophet used to give the khutbah. So what does that mean? And where he used to lead the prayer. How many times did the Prophet walk back and forth? Because the Messenger of Allah walked back and forth that many times, it is a sacred area. It's considered a garden of paradise, meaning that the dua there is guaranteed. The tawbah there is accepted.
Between the Prophet's house.
So the Rawda visit is very important.
Called the Rawda.
Now, for sisters, they have to sign up for their own personal Rawda visits with an app. It's the Nusuk app, which I had mentioned already in the WhatsApp group. The Nusuk app, you have to sign up for it, but make sure you don't conflict with our visit. Now, we don't know our visit. That's the problem. Okay. So we're going to know when we're scheduled to do it. Also, the Umrah visit, we will do it as a group as well. Umrah cannot be delayed. As soon as we arrive in Mecca, we put our luggage, we get our luggage from the hotel lobby or from the bus. We will take it now. The youth, they're going to help us out. They're going to be the luggage transporters. Okay. They should be honored to be the luggage transporters, because there are no luggage transporters. We're moving our own luggage. From the bus, the bottom of the bus has all the luggage. This is going to be a couple times. So youth, any young man who has some strength should always take a second bag with him. If every one of us takes 2 bags, that'll be for everyone, because some of the people are elders, okay, and they can't take their luggage. All right, so we're going to take the luggage right up to our rooms. When we get there, your name is going to be written at the hotel, the person at the hotel, what do they call? Reception. Okay, we're going to get a list. And you're going to get your room key and your room numbers. I double checked. All roommate requests have been honored and have been sent in to the hotels. So they have been sent in. Some of you have made requests to be rooming with so and so and so and so, or with your family. That has been sent in and has been honored. Okay, I just double checked that today. All right, next. We mentioned the Nusuk app. Ibadah in Medina, we're going to go at Dhuhr and pray Dhuhr, get a seat before at the adhan time, pray dhuhr and do our ibadah right there. The best ibadah in Medina is salat on the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you want some easy, they're called siyagh. Siyagh is the plural of siyagh, expressions of salat on the Prophet. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad al-Nabi al-Ummi. Allahumma salli wa sallim alayhi. These are such of the simplest ones. The simplest ones. This one is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wa doesn't even count as a word. How many times do you speak 4,000 words in a day? Right? In half an hour. So this is very simple. Okay, and it's something that all of us should commit to when we're there. Ibadah in Mecca, the best ibadah is tawaf. It's better than anything else. And it's the unique ibadah, right? It's something that's unique. You're not going to do it anywhere else. You can make another Umrah and recitation of Quran, and I highly recommend everyone be very aware of Fajr time and sleep accordingly. How can you miss Tahajjud? Unless you're jet lagged or something, why would you miss it? You go straight down to the masjid for that. Okay. And make it early in advance. You can sleep after dhuhr. After you do your ibadah, sleep after dhuhr. Okay. So we'll get our rest later. There really is no sense of adjusting. The trip is so short and intense right off the bat. There's no sense of let me readjust myself. Just go with it. Adjust when you come back. There are 2 special days. I'm very thankful that our trip accommodates these 2 special days. Dua is accepted by yourself, and by your actions. It's accepted by special time and special place. This trip, the schedule has worked out that we can combine the time and place 2 times. And that is in Medina. This masjid here is called Masjid al-Fath. Let's get this out of the way. This masjid here is called Masjid al-Fath. Yeah. Masjid al-Fath is where the Prophet ﷺ prayed on Monday, and on Tuesday, and on Wednesday. The occasion of the prayer was so intense, it was the complete elimination, annihilation of the Muslims. That's what the Quraysh, that was the occasion, that was what the Prophet was praying for the protection of. The Quraysh had brought in all these people to annihilate all of the Muslims, kill every single last one of them, and they had the manpower to do it. And so the Messenger ﷺ built the ditch, as we know, the Battle of the Khandaq, and then they were waiting. It was 1 month. Now the supplies are running, their nerves are frayed, and they can weaken. On Wednesday, between Dhuhr and Asr, the dua of the Prophet was answered, and the whole Ummah was saved. Therefore, all of Islam was saved. And Jabir ibn Abdullah narrates the hadith and says that from then on, I knew that between Dhuhr and Asr is the sacred place, time. On Wednesday. Wednesday between Dhuhr and Asr is the sacred time. So the sign too is that if you catch the dua at that time, when the door of the heavens opens up, you'll get a sign that your dua was answered. It doesn't have to happen right away, but it will be giving you a sign that your dua has been answered. It could come later, but it's been answered. They built a masjid there. This is what the masjid looks like. So on Wednesdays, which is going to be our last day in Medina, we plan to spend the entirety of Dhuhr and Asr. It's only 2 hours, basically 2.5 hours. We're going to spend all of that time. We're going to pray Dhuhr there and spend all the way until Asr there. That guarantees that we will have caught that time. When we go there, don't talk to anybody. Don't be distracted. There's nothing to take a picture of. Okay? Look, this is it. That's nothing to take a picture of, right? Don't lose yourself with recording the history. Just do the ibadah. And then from there, inshallah, I'm really hoping that the train time allows us to stay all the way to Asr, so we make the whole thing. That's the first sacred time and place. We cannot miss that. This is what the masjid looks like on the inside. It's very quaint, archaic looking, very sacred looking. Thursday night, I don't know who wrote on this, but let's erase whatever. Anyone wrote there? Okay. Thursday night, the Prophet ﷺ spoke at length about Laylat al-Jum'ah. It is a Laylatul Gharra, which means this night the dua is answered. And the Prophet ﷺ said there are only a few nights a year when the prayer is answered. Well, one of them is every Thursday night. Every Thursday, which means it's called Laylatul Jum'ah, we call it Thursday night. So Thursday night, whatever we're doing, whether it's ihram, Umrah, whether it's just tawaf, I highly recommend you spend Thursday, the daytime, resting as much as possible. Take a nap, take 2-3 naps. Why? Because around midnight, we're going to head down. Okay, we're going to head down around midnight, start our tawaf, and spend all night in ibadah, as if it's Laylatul Qadr. And we treat this night as if it's Laylatul Qadr. And it's a shame that how people don't understand the power of Laylatul Jum'ah anywhere, let alone in Mecca. Make sure you know what you're bringing to Allah Ta'ala, because otherwise you don't know what you're going to say. You can't just show up to the playoff. You have to be prepared. You have to have done it before. Okay. You have to have the stamina of ibadah. That's the thing. Many people don't have the stamina. So build the stamina from now. Tours and visits. There will be a bus tour in both Medina and in Mecca. In Medina, our tour guide, inshallah, will be Muhammad al-Farisi. He is one of the students of Habib Umar bin Sa'd bin Hafid, and he will take us to Al-Baqi', Masjid Quba, Masjid al-Ijaba. Okay. Masjid al-Ijaba is another place where we must make dua. There, the Prophet prayed for the Ummah that we never be divided or never suffer from starvation. And we never be destroyed by natural calamities. And the third dua was that we're never divided. Allah gave him the first two and not the third one. And that third one, he didn't give it to him, not denying the Prophet, but that division will one day help the Muslims. You think it's always bad, it's sometimes good. When we're divided this way, okay, if one group does something bad, the other group is innocent. If one group is the target, we're so divided, you can't possibly destroy the Muslims this day and age, right? No matter how much they hate Islam, they can't physically destroy Muslims. There's too many Muslims. And they're all over the world, divided up throughout the world. Physically and even mentally, they're divided up. Masjid al-Sajda, Thaqifat Banu Sa'ida, that's where the Bay'ah of Abu Bakr took place. The companions' homes, you're going to be surprised. You think we're going to visit the homes of the companions like taking a car from here to there. No, it's not like that. It's more like his house was there, his house was there, his house was there. It's like little, almost their life was like a camping trip where tents, all within a very small area. You would be shocked to see how small the area is. We're going to see Jabal Uhud, of course, and the grave of Sayyidina Hamza. And he will show us more places, inshallah. Next, Abdul Ilah al-Attas is going to show us the birthplace of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the house of Hani, which is where the Prophet was sleeping the night of the Isra and Mi'raj. Darul Arqam, Jabal Hira, and the Ghar Hira. If you have the stamina, it's not so hot. We can climb up the mountain and go into the mountain, the cave, Ghar Hira. Jabal Thawr, okay. Masjid al-Jinn, where it was a place where the Prophet ﷺ taught the jinn who became Muslim. Okay, they are mentioned in Surah al-Jinn, if you remember. Surah al-Jinn, where did the Prophet teach them? They built a masjid there. It's called Masjid al-Jinn. The Mu'alla graveyard, where Sayyidah Khadija is buried. Okay. And many, many Sahaba. This Abdul Ilah al-Attas, him and his crew, they're trained, they're taught. He's a young guy, he just graduated college a couple years ago. And them and their shabab, the way that they were raised, after Jum'ah, you all go to the eldest house, the elder's house, and they have a little gathering of dhikr and everything. And then after that, they eat, and then after that, they pray Asr, and they go down and they say salam to all the relatives that are buried in the Mu'alla graveyard, and they go and you see all the different Sahaba that are buried. On the way, he'll show you where different Sahaba are buried. Okay.
And then there is an interesting museum in Mecca,
Which is really neat, that has pictures of early Muslim etchings in caves. Now, the youth of the Tabi'een, this was a thing amongst them. They think like graffiti is something the Muslims did. Well, the idea of marking yourself, it's not just our youth that do it. There was a trend in the first generation of Islam to mark that you were at a spot. So there are etchings with the names of people who are tabi'een, and later on became hadith scholars. So and so was here. Even there's one for Abu Huraira, like etched Abu Huraira was here at this time in this place, right? So they have these etchings, and they have all sorts of things in the Mecca Museum, which is pretty nice to see. We're going to visit some of the shuyukh homes. Some of these are Habib Ubaidullah Saqaf, and all of this is being arranged for us by Habib Ubaidul Abdul Ilah Al-Attas, this brother here. He's arranging all of these trips. These are all Yemenis who live in Saudi and have been living in Saudi for years now. Okay. All right. So that is it. Let's now refresh ourselves with this slide here. And let's open it up to yourselves. Now, I did tell you that, I did tell some people that Athar would be here on Zoom, but he's catching a flight. So he's not going to be here. So I'm going to try to take all your questions as best as possible. All right, so let's start. Anyone has any questions about this? Nusuk app, yes. Make sure you download the Nusuk app, especially if you are a sister who wants to go to the Rawda again. You can only go by that. Yeah.
That they open every week before, prior to, like right now, if you go to December,
Mhm.
it's open only up to 10. So you have to make appointment from here. If you will not make appointment, you will not get to go in the road.
Keep in mind, you have to sign in. So you're going to have to give in your personal information. You know, there's nothing called going under the radar anymore in Saudi. Yes. That's a problem, yes. So you're going to end up having to wait. Yeah, so we need the visa information, which you should be getting within about a week. Inshallah. Yeah. I'll tell them that. Musa is asking, are we going to Masjid al-Qiblatain? Yes, that's part of the tour, to go to Masjid al-Qiblatain. Masjid al-Qiblatain is one of my favorite visits because it's a beautiful masjid and there's a really nice market around there, like an old traditional style market. And you could buy stuff from and eat some food there. And Masjid al-Quba likewise. Yes. So the only time that we'll run into questions of ijtihad involves the ihram, pretty much. And that involves the use of pins. Some of the madhahib accept it and some do not. And the use of belts and the use of fanny packs and wearing a watch in ihram. So some of the madhahib differ on those matters. Okay, and inshallah that will be a separate, more detailed talk to go into that. And I'm just going to explain to you all the things that the madhahib say, and then you can do your thing. Inshallah. Everyone can decide what is most suitable to them. This is only 4 hours anyway. Good. Any other questions? Habib. For Jummah, we will be praying, inshallah, Jummah at the Haram, at Masjid al-Haram, and that does require you to go a bit early because you don't want to pray Jummah in the sun. and get too hot. It's not going to be that hot anyway, but you don't want to get too hot. Question from online. We'll be sharing this recording. Yes, we will be. Can you please repeat about the ihram rules? The ihram rules. We will have a whole session just on the ihram rules, and it's a very simple session, but we will devote special time for that. But the ihram rules essentially is that you will refrain while you're in ihram. You must refrain from any garment that goes around the limb. You must refrain for the men. The women don't have any ihram rules regarding clothes. They can wear whatever they want. For the men, it's clothed rulings such as wrapping any garment around the limb, putting on, and then for the women, it's putting on, and men, any scented oils, perfumes, any scent, and any clipping of nails or hair. That's the mujmal, ijmali, general ihram rules. Hey, Mulan. Okay, so that's what I was wondering. The train doesn't stop for the miqats. Okay. Okay, so we will all have to, unlike the old times where you take the bus and the bus stops at the miqat, which I prefer personally to stop at the miqat because it's a pretty miqat with palm trees and everything. But we will be putting on our ihram in the hotel. You can take Vaseline for the men if your skin is going to rub against each other in an uncomfortable manner. I recommend you get a small bottle of Vaseline. Okay. Anything else? All right, Sammy, would you like to share and add anything?
Those who have intimidated, those who've been through it, especially those ones that have seen really overwhelming and complicated. But when you get there, that's enough. Almost anxious. I'm going to mission at first. So I'm going to take care of that intention. It's not that complicated. But sometimes we can both get anxious and nervous. That's number two. Just to admire, like I said, it's like between them and what we do, especially we come and we have a lot of what. Number one, Dr. Daddy mentioned vacation, right? This is vacation on vacation. Why? It's a month. Mindset all the time that we have. This is not a mindset of the majority of people. And they go on their lives. That's it. Right? Those of you who want to Umra, you think about it, I'm going to go down and do it. I'm going to make hajj and go to other sites. I'll have later in life and now we don't have that mindset that most of us throughout our history and even today have one shot. So put yourself in that mindset. For some of us are thinking this is Umra and we'll hajj in 5 years or 3 years or whatever. No, you have no guarantee. So we don't know this isn't the hajj. You want to go with the mindset that this is my one shot to visit those places. And have only like 8 days, whatever, 9 days, whatever it is. That should be your mindset. So start preparing yourself accordingly. One shaykh I remember I was sitting with him. He said for 20 years he was preparing for that next day. He never went for 20 years. He said, I used to dream at night and think about what I would be doing here, what I would be doing there, etc. But what do you think when he finally arrived there? 20 years planning everything. What was his experience compared to, for example, mine? Right, just hop on a plane, was reading on the book ahead of time, was it the same? A long while. Right? So starting with that mindset, as Dr. Chetty mentioned, you want to capitalize on that mindset, right? So even if he's saying, for example, the power, 1,000 times seems like a lot. Start practicing. Start practicing. Getting started in every think about certain highlights you want to say, think about certain things you want to incorporate, right? And start doing that, right? We only have like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Like I said, we don't have a year, 1, 2 years, if others have that mindset. They benefit much more than oftentimes Westerners because of the mindset they take. So let's get into a mindset. This is it. So I will bless us in the future with many more trips. But this may be my only trip in my life. Right? Go with that mindset, and then your next 2 weeks go out, very beneficial. Fifth asset, don't be very simple. Don't stress about that. Here's what you're focusing on, preparing yourself for all the other assets, spiritual assets, I'm sure that. Exercise, yes. To stop shedding much on the walk. So if you're not going to be doing the walk on the ground floor, 7 rounds is long. I got the levels. Couple miles. By the time you finish 7, maybe 4 hours to find the strategy. Right? Along the upper levels of the walk around the property. Okay. So other than you want to get that in. So just keep in mind, if you haven't already, start exercising. Those who do the 5K every day. And you barely get through the 5K. You need to get your game up for the next 2 years. So get it. Just exercise and start walking that thing. You will be done that. You will be walking on tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'm about to. Just remember that.
Right. So just keep that in mind as well. So just get that. So this is, as Dr. Chatty mentioned, there's no requirement for a trial. However, based on the advice I've seen from others, there is something that the man experience that the guy can get out that problem. They're buying something and they're taking it where. So my suggestion, based on what I've done from others, find your problem. Whatever it is, this is my problem. I'm not going to go down the day or leave or not. That's fine. Start thinking now, what is my problem that I'm going to tackle? With the Muslim culture, it's actually a problem that a woman having. Right? They're all after that's our reason too. That they don't wear any other time of the year. But they bring that with them, and that's their problem. So, these are things that Muslim cultures that have developed over time to help facilitate that spiritual experience. So I would suggest maybe think about that.
Okay, good. Very important about the mentality. And the mentality is really based on knowing who you're speaking to, who you're going to visit. And this, the greatness of this creator. This is a big meeting. With some fiqh regarding the Umrah, Tawaf requires wudu. Tawaf is invalid without wudu. Wudu is only required for a couple things. Salah, touching the mushaf, and tawaf. That's it. Well, tawaf is one of them. Sa'i, if you make sa'i without wudu, it's still valid. But the tawaf has to have wudu. Secondly, that if a woman finds herself that she cannot enter the masjid, then many of the ulama, this is something just I hear people say, they disrupt their flow with medication. If they could do that. Otherwise, what is the point? I went to Umrah 8 days and 6 days, I couldn't go to the masjid. Right? There's no point. So maybe it's too late, I don't know, to calculate that and make sure that for this period of time, you are able to go into the masjid. Otherwise, it would be a shame that you have to sit outside the masjid the whole time. Okay. So those are 2 questions we got. Next question, are we going to the scene of Badr? Probably not, because we could if we wanted to take a cab, but probably not. It's a bit far away. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. So this is a good question. In Masjid al-Nabawi and in Mecca, with the current changes, I haven't gone up to date. So Qari, can you tell us, you just went, there's been so many changes. Where will the women pray in Medina, and Masjid al-Nabawi and Masjid al-Haram? inside, and no, in the masjid in general. So they can go. Can they go on the level that has the Kaaba? Okay, that's good. King Abdulaziz Gate, if you want to enter. I got you. Okay, thank you. Okay, good, good. What's that? How far is the king? Let's look at the map of the gates. We can actually look at this. Same side.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay. Good.
Okay, good.
So King
So King
Fahd
is just around the corner.
Oh, it's
Oh, it's the
same
same one. Okay, so good. They're right next to each other. Good. We're in the clock tower, Hilton. It's next to the clock tower. Next to the.
It's the it's a V. The hotels look like a V.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like.
You can't miss it when you see it. Yeah.
The clock tower would be on this side. Yeah, this side is the clock tower. Yeah. Okay, and there's a road in between. So. Okay, so this is the clock tower right here. And King Abdulaziz is this one here. Inner circle. This right here. Oh, I see. Okay. So this is King Abdulaziz Gate. So it's right there. No difference. Yeah. Good. That's a good thing. Many people make this mistake. And so if you can get a counter of any sort, but you count one when you finish one. That's because people make the mistake of when did they start? Right? So you didn't finish one, don't count one until you finish one. Okay. When we get, there's a little green light and a very thin line on the ground that marks the end of each one. And you're going to raise your hand, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and move on. Okay. You can touch the Hajar al-Aswad if you're able to, and if you're not, then you just say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Okay. And then you count one. That's where you count one as. Now, let's say hypothetically, I totally forgot and I started my tawaf from the wrong corner, right? And I left already.
No.
Okay. The answer to that is, it is maqbool if you had done it forgetfully. If you have done that intentionally, you have done a bid'ah and you're sinful and it is accepted still. Okay. And you should not do it again. But no one would do that intentionally, right? But so you have to mark, there's a green light. Then you're going to see right here, this semicircle. You make tawaf by going around that. You don't go through that for tawaf. The semicircle right here is where Sayyidina Ismail and his mother Hajar, Sayyidah Hajar, are buried. You can pray. I don't know if they permit nawafil there now. I don't think so. But in general, it is mashru'a, permitted to pray nafila there, but not fard. Because this marble arch, semicircle, would break up the rows. So therefore, it's not permitted to pray the fard there, the jama'ah, but you could pray solitary prayers. Maulana, is it open these days? Good. 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 Remember that when we make tawaf, the men will jog very briefly the first three. Yeah. And then they will walk. The women do not have that ruling. After the seven tawaf, there is a place right here called Maqam Ibrahim. And it's like a dome, like a golden dome. You pray 2 rakahs behind that. That is part of the Umrah.
And then you go from there, you go northwest, you go to the Safa and Marwa. At each Safa and Marwa, you stop, you look towards the Kaaba, you make a nice dua as long as you wish. And then you go down. There's also green lights, which used to be a depressed area, meaning an area that is a valley, and people used to move quickly there. So now we artificially run there. Also a sunnah for the males to do.
Right
outside the Marwa or the Safa, there's going to be all sorts of barbers. And you can ask them to shave it, or you can ask them to clip it. Let's say I want to do multiple umras. So clip at, let's say, the biggest size he has. It's even more rewardable for Hajj to shave your head. Everyone goes to Hajj to shave your head. But for Umrah, if you shorten, it's also acceptable. Okay. So you could shorten it by having him just shave it a little bit. It doesn't have to be with the razor completely. And then that allows you to go a second time. Now, what happens if you shaved and you want to do it again? They still put some cream on your head, some scentless cream, because you're still in ihram technically, and they move the blade over your head. That's how you still do that. It's the movement of the blade over the head. That's what counts. Yes. No, if you want to go, if we're in Mecca, you're free. If we're in Medina or Mecca, we're not transporting each side. You're free, right? You can go do your own umrah. You don't have to tell us. You can go take a cab, go to a restaurant with your family if you want to. You don't have to tell us. Like it's not like that. So we're going to meet a couple times. All those meetings are at your discretion, right? I highly recommend people stay as structured as possible, because you could easily waste time. Yes. Yeah. I would actually buy them here in advance. You don't want to waste time because, believe it or not, there's a lot of thobes. They may not fit right. It's not just so easy to just pick up any thobe. So you end up wasting some time. If you can buy some thobes anywhere here, yes.
Yeah,
There's no point. There's nothing that you're not going to find there that you can't get on the internet. So if you want to get some gifts for memory's sake, just save that for the last day. Save that all for the last day. Yeah, it's like right next to it, right? Yeah.
Yes, Rod. Clothing on a daily basis, I believe it should be something appropriate for the event, for the occasion, for the meeting. And remember, you are having a meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not coming with us. You're not going to see the people. You're not going to fight with the guards. You're not going for any of that distraction. I would say whatever you have that is a loose and ethnic looking clothes is what you should pack and wear while you're there. While there are no set rules, but that's just what I find appropriate. Athwab, Sawar Kameez, yes. What's that? Visits to the shiuk, definitely, and sweatpants, really. I'm not going to talk to you. If you're going on that, because it is important how you appear. Appearance, yes, Allah looks at the heart, but on the way to the heart is the body. Okay, that's why we make wudu. That's why we wear ihram, right? So the body does matter. So you're going to come to the house of Allah Ta'ala. You wouldn't come to visit someone's house or your boss's house or propose to a woman in sweatpants, right? So I highly recommend that you consider it, take it to heart, and consider, I'm actually going to meet the Prophet. If I was going to meet the Prophet, how would I dress? That's how we're going to do it. Okay. And if that doesn't affect your heart, that's why we're doing this trip. Because your heart has a sickness. And we need to shock it into health again. And treat it into health. How do we know that the heart has a sickness? Is if we're not moved by what is sacred. Or like we're numb to it. That's a sickness. Right. Do women need appointment to visit Rauda? So when you get your visa number, then you will need to go into the Nusuk app. Okay. I'm going to type it here real quick in the chat. The Nusuk app, but it won't work unless you get the visa number. So we are waiting for the visa number. Then you can punch it in, but get the app anyway and sign up from now. Yes. Yes. Communication should be basically, you can private message Sammy, myself, Sammy. Good. If you want to know something. Yeah. Yeah, Sammy.
Try to avoid unnecessary bleeding. Right? So we're not going to right? Think about our parents, our parents, what do we do? Before we I remember very consistently, I was 5. Got like one ball. So you have someone that everything was outdated. You don't have virus to cut off as much as you can. You have a job. Don't plug in unless it absolutely has to. The news, compare. Story, compare. None of that matters. One card is really like this. Possible. So you're using the phone, just test communicate with each other. There's some percent of that. This was pictures of photos about find and take pictures at certain times, maybe after the fact. Don't lose these moments that you have with the camera. Oh my God, this is awesome. Guess what? That awesome experience you have is not right? Because what are you doing now? All the time you're thinking, I'm going to show this picture to someone else. That's where you can find somewhere else, over there. Right? This habit that we have here, you want to try to create them that. After you've had an experience, so the experience, whatever you want to take pictures, remember you said but you're planning to get out of this mindset and going to pass the one number. trying to change. Another thing about parents, patience, right? We are embracing the world. Or cultural practices, cultural norms that people have, and they some of us have forgotten about, some of us never saw. We're gonna run those. Keep that in mind. Patience and cost. And we're going to be proud of the I'm telling you, everyone's going to be fired at some point. Part of the experience. Part of the whole experience. There's no 5-star, 7-star package that doesn't try it. No such thing. Everyone is trying there at some level, and it's going to be something. Whatever you're uncomfortable about now, that's what you're going to be stuck. Don't try to find the road. You're uncomfortable about some sort of new thing, you're going to make people want to eat. Tell me what I see. Hurry up while you're getting lost. That's what. You're going to do one move, like the ball. Sounds funny, but you will see it. You can try it out because part of that whole experience you will see is to reveal to yourself what your issues are and see how you respond. That's the place to fix these things. You be exposed to who you are. To take advantage of those opportunities rather than launch into the complaint and then whatever. Right? You don't want to be that much. Always remind yourself where you are, who you're a guest of. You know, you're a guest of the complex of. Don't dishonor his house. Don't dishonor his place by your upbringing. And you are not going to judge who will be invited. The person next to you thinks being rude. Guess what? He's a guest. Yes, your problem. Not a problem. Okay. Somebody go over someone's house. Someone invites someone else there, you don't like that other guest, and you start screaming at the host and screaming at that guest. You don't like that when you were invited to somebody else. This is in terms of mindset. Not a single person, self first and foremost, deserves or has any right to set their own limits. I want you to think about it. Either the land of the angels, either the land of the prophets, either the land of the Sahaba. What we all are filled with garbage that we carry with us, we have to be in those places. So if we're honored to be in there and we get there, we have no right. Let's be honest with us. And we know who is there and who won't. That should be our limit. Everything is a blessing. We are being honored by God, honored by the message choices. Keep that in mind. That's 7 8 days.
Okay, also, speaking of what Samuel was mentioning and what the question about communication, there are only a few youth who are coming without their parents. So some of the youth have their parents with them. For example, Sammy Shaban is going to be there. Is that correct, Kareem? Okay. Okay, but for example, Zaid Atiya's parents going to be there, Yusuf Chowdhury, but some parents will not be there. So Zoltan Pranik, Mikhail Chowdhury, Alif, Baraka, Omar and Kareem Rifai. These should, for the parents of these kids, Sammy and I will chase after them at the airports, at the big bus transport moments. But I don't think that it's really going to be possible to give you up to date. What is my son doing? Is he behaving? We will highly recommend that you instill a modicum of maturity. I know they're youth; they want to have a good time. Have a good time, but the stuff that is going to be also like Yusuf Alvarez, for example, he's going to be by himself. So we will make sure, we will chase after them to make sure they get on the bus and they get on the plane. Okay, good. Some of the moms are there too. But beyond that, I don't think it's fair otherwise anything more than that, right? Their eating habits, all that stuff, they should be able to handle that themselves. Yes. So there's going to be the meeting point at the airport, at the transfer from Medina to Mecca, and then at the next airport, we're going to do the head counts. And we have a pretty big group. It's 59 total people with the airfare and the ground package, there's about 10 more people that are ground package, not the airfare. So they're gonna take their own flights. Okay. So Sammy, I don't know if did you catch what I mentioned right now? Yes. Final questions. Yes. It's very important. Yes, it's very important. Yes. That is very important, and that's going to be part of when we do this. That we're going to have to we're going to communicate those things, and before we get there. But also consider that the visitation of the Prophet ﷺ is not just from that angle, that you see in the pictures. Behind that, in any location you are in the masjid, that is a visitation of the Prophet ﷺ. So that you may not be able to get in front and see the golden gates of the Prophet in front of the Prophet's tomb. Well, what about behind that? It's the same thing. There is no set limit of the location of what is considered visitation of the Prophet ﷺ. If say I'm jammed up, I cannot give salam to the Messenger, peace be upon him, because of the crowd. Wherever you are, that's visitation of the Prophet. So we will cover that, the power of magnanimity of that moment, and we'll discuss that. And keep your eyes on the WhatsApp chat. I will be dropping little things here and there every day from now on, or every other day. Inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا everyone. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.